Here's the situation. You have brought a Hunnic army whose success is almost solely dependent on the massive amounts of melee infantry in it. Your opponent has brought a large number of noble Germanic horsemen who would destroy the shield wall lacking UR infantry if given the chance, and would do very well against Hunnic cavalry as well. How do you win? This is round 1 of the Fear the Forest tournament. It is played in Gortina, east to west, between Houseplant of the Wolf Clan and Stomping. The map is fairly straightforward, mostly flat with some forest protection on the flanks and a couple of trees dotting the center. Stomping does have a slight hill advantage right next to his deployment zone that he could take advantage of if he is smart. With the Huns, Houseplant has brought 4-step bows. Very cheap foot archers that can do a decent bit of damage onto enemy cavalry if they focus their fire. 3 UR warriors and 1 Bosphoran infantry form his front and center. On his left flank, he has 3 chosen URs, very expensive but deadly melee infantry that can destroy both infantry and cavalry alike due to their great melee attack. They also have the scare trait that can easily cause chain routes. On his right, he has 3 more UR warriors forming a total of 6. He has a Steppe Chieftain, Brace General with triple bronze XP. Using Brace effectively could make this unit a cavalry killer since it wields a spear. For his cavalry, he has a mix of cheap shock cavalry and 2 Steppe mounted brigands as his guerrilla component. Interestingly enough, he has kept his mounted brigands with his main line, choosing not to guerrilla deploy them, where they would arguably be more effective in getting quick surprise charges onto enemy skirmishers. With the Ostrogoths, Stomping has brought 4 Germanic archers and 2 Gothic levy pikes. Standard Germanic main line over here. 5 triple gold noble Germanic horse. Very deadly cavalry contingent that will destroy the Hunnic horses. 4 Gothic warband. A Royal Sionis steady general. A Brace general would have been probably more effective. 1 noble Gothic lancer in the forest that could make for a pretty nasty surprise. And speaking of surprises, he has 2 Germanic brigands in a little patch of woods right in the center, ready to surprise the Hunnic cavalry, most likely. These brigands have an insane rate of fire. They are meant to let loose their paltry ammo onto a single high-value target like a cavalry general and become cost-effective that way. Barring that, they are very limited in their role. With all this being said, let's get into the action. Now, 2 units that would probably be pretty important for Stomping if he wants to win this game are of course his noble Germanic horsemen and these 2 Germanic brigands. These units hidden right here in the center of the map are of course hidden because they are in a forest technically. And if they get into sight of these steppe chieftains, then they would definitely be able to kill off at least 30 to 40 of them, or at least one of them would probably be able to get 30 to 40 kills on them. That's just my estimation. But I think Stomping made a mistake here. While I'm going to just fast put this in double speed, I think a better position, I think he would have had access to, let's put this, he could have dropped these brigands here, maybe even here. I think that could probably have been a better idea. He's getting dangerously close to being revealed right in the center. And if he does, it's not going to be good for him because these steppe cataphracts or these cheap steppe-mounted brigands can just charge into them and kill them off. And they're too far away from the rest of their army, to really do anything. Very graciously, the Stomping has moved from his starting deployment zone onto the right, where it's a more favorable terrain, where it's a more fair terrain. But this actually gives Houseplant the advantage here, and we can see the Germanic brigands have gotten discovered. And that's going to be very bad for Stomping here. These Germanic mounted brigands, these steppe brigands are going to charge in. And you can see the insane rate of fire that these guys have. Just destroyed 15 of these mounted brigands right off the, just in one volley. But now that they've gotten caught, they're going to take a ton of damage simply from the impact damage. And here you can see Germanic brigands are starting to die. And one of these Bosphoran warriors are coming in to just support and kill them off. But like I was saying, now that Stomping moved to the right, this actually gives Houseplant an advantage because he's got a lot of tree cover here. And that's actually going to be massive for him because his steppe bows don't or just cannot compare to Germanic archers in a regular fight. But when they have so much tree protection, they'd actually be able to do pretty decently. You have to remember that Germanic archers themselves, once they get in range of these step bows, are not going to do very well because they don't have any armor. So it's going to be up to Stomping to try and utilize the max range that these guys have. You can see he's already starting to fire flaming shot onto these step bows, getting a lot of kills. It's debatable the effectiveness of flaming shot right now, especially on such an unarmored target, considering that normal shot itself would do a decent bit of damage onto these guys. Germanic archers here starting to take some casualties from the step bows. Stomping has separated his cavalry into two, and he's doing a very smart thing here. He's leaving his Gothic levy up in front, just forming a solid wall, because he knows that Houseplant's army is not very maneuverable at all. There's very few cavalry, and they're not very strong either, and the noble Germanic horsemen will just eat these step-mounted brigands and step cataphracts for breakfast. If they can do the same for these chosen UR warriors, that's going to be the deciding factor, because if he can get some charges onto them, then the game is lost for Houseplant. Step-mounted brigands down to 14 men, killed 115 Germanic brigands. Here the the UR warriors are starting to charge in. I think the Germanic archers, the step bows are shooting into the Germanic archers. You can see Houseplant hasn't used anything other than regular shot. And this actually leads me into the first MLG move of the tournament. I would consider this to be an MLG move. Very subtle play here by Stomping, moving his cavalry onto this little valley up here, this little hillock. And what this is going to do is, once the cataphracts right here are going to charge in, not only would these cataphracts have the movement penalty or the charge penalty from the forest, the noble Germanic horsemen will be able to get a downhill charge onto these guys. So here, cataphracts, noble Gothic lances charged into step cataphracts, destroying a lot of them. Noble Germanic horsemen getting clean charges here, and the chosen URs getting a downhill charge by noble Germanic horsemen, getting wrecked. But here the step chieftain is coming into support. It's going to be up to Houseplant to get the brace up on time. Here the chosen URs have come into play, and they're going to get a lot of kills very quickly. Royal Saon is being thrown into the battle here, and now these Gothic warband are about to get charged at by step-mounted brigands. This is not good for Stomping at all. They're going to take a lot of casualties for no reason against a very cheap unit. And he's not microing his noble Germanic horsemen at all well on his left flank. On his right, he's just focusing all of his attention on his right flank. He's done a good enough job killing off a lot of these chosen URs off the charge, but now these noble Germanic horsemen are going to get caught and killed. These Gothic warband will do a decent enough job against the chosen URs, but they'll get killed eventually. Especially with the noble Germanic horse, they'll probably be able to last for a bit. Here, noble Germanic horse charging into the rear of these UR warriors, going to get a lot of kills of the impact damage there. Step cataphracts killing off the Gothic warband. Noble Germanic horse will be able to destroy the step cataphracts in extended melee, but not with the chosen UR warriors supporting. Noble Gothic lance is proving to be a pretty big waste of money. Got a charge, then got caught by UR warriors and not doing very well. Here, Royal Saon is down to 51 units, but he's managed to successfully pull them out. He needs to use these units very well to try and just rear charge the chosen URs. On the left flank of Stomping, meanwhile, step-mounted brigands starting to die. The noble Germanic horse, while they would usually be able to do a great job against step cataphracts, with the chosen URs and the regular URs coming into support, they're not going to do very well at all. Houseplant has stuck to the basics, and he's done very well at that. Used his step bows to kill off the enemy skirmishers. Very smart move there. Kept his infantry close enough to his cavalry that he could come in for timely support. He knew that the only way that he can win this game was if his UR warriors didn't get charged at, and they didn't, because he just kept his cheap cavalry as bait basically, and let them get charged at by the noble Germanic horsemen. And then after that, he just tied them down and let his UR warriors do the talking for him. Here, UR warriors full strength, charging into noble Germanic horsemen. This is a rout. There's no chance Stomping can pull this back. No chance at all. The Germanic archers not used well by Stomping. He did this. I really like this move here. Very creative move from Stomping, using the slight hill advantage that he had, to try and get some good charges in. And this was after the fact that he moved his entire army over here. But it's a bit too little. He needed more infantry, or either that or he needed his Germanic archers to start pouring in the fire onto those UR warriors right from the start of the game, and he needed to have kited back a little bit. and utilize the range advantage that he had with his 4 Germanic archers. But he didn't, and that's what's cost him the game. It's become a close victory for the Huns and for Houseplant. Congratulations to Houseplant. He moves on to the round of 8 in the Fear of the Forest tournament. That again is going to be a best of 1. Let's take a look at the stats. It's just strength in numbers here for the Huns. Brought a ton of melee infantry and did well with them. Chosen Uars did very well. One of them got hammered, but most of them got 127, 147 kills. Decent enough job from them. Uar warriors did okay. Bosphoran warriors did pretty decently as well. Steppe bows doing a remarkably good job, just focusing on the Germanic archers and killing them off. The steppe mounted brigands did a decent enough job, but the steppe lancers and steppe cataphracts just were no match for the noble Germanic horsemen. Noble Germanic horsemen, though, at the other end, for Cowstomper, just if he's going to put so much money into them, they need to get 150 odd kills, just like this one unit. All of them need to get that many amount of kills, but they didn't. Germanic Archers, huge disappointment. Gothic Warband getting charged on Cowstomper's left flank and then dying without contributing anything to the battle. In general, they didn't do much at all. Royal Sionis, very powerful unit, wasn't used effectively. That just shows, in Total War Attila, a game gets over in a couple of minutes. You need to be on point with micro on both sides of your flanks. You just cannot afford to spend too much time on one flank and then completely forget about the other. That's rule number 1. If you forget that, then the game is just as good as done. Anyways, guys, that's the end of this game. Hope you enjoyed it and stay tuned for more. Peace.